Now, have you heard of a parasite witchweed? Witchweed, also known as trigger, is a parasitic weed that seriously constrains the productivity of crops like maize, sorghum, millet, and even rice. Witchweed withers the host crop and results in a witch appearance of some sort. Now, you're welcome to the program Biotechnology in Focus. I am Ifeanyi Okafor. One peculiar factor about this edition of the program is that we will take an in-depth look at devastation of crops and farmlands by parasites or pests of various types, and also natural as well as man-made activities that have devastated farmlands and reduced yields, causing losses and poor harvests. Let's go there.
According to research, the infestation was first detected in Nigeria a few years ago, affecting both dry and rainy season crop production. The infestation is mostly on crops like cowpea, rice, wheat, and above all maize, an important economic crop which forms major component of the daily diet. So far, 22 states of the Federation have reported the outbreak. Kano is not an exception, as about 5 local government areas of the state recorded the moth's infestation. Managing Director of Kano State Agricultural and Rural Development Authority, Professor Mahamudu Daneji, speaks on what the government is doing to control the menace. Ibrahim Musa Maina of the Center for Dryland Agriculture, Bayero University, Kano, said the infestation is both on local and improved seeds. Technologist Maina stressed the need for adequate research to be carried out towards identifying resistant seed varieties. Maina, however, warned that if measures are not put in place with a high rate of large reproductive capacity and a wide host plant range, the infestation could lead to serious food crisis in the country.
Vital areas or key factors which can help farmers across the continent in the light of declining productivity are: first, you must ensure that the farmers have access to improved quality and affordable seeds. Now, secondly, quality seeds enhance higher yields. Better performing seeds and effective links to new markets and production of technologically enhanced crops can, to a large extent, check the effect of parasites on crops. Now, to effectively control rise in new pests, diseases, and climatic factors such as drought, erosion, floods, desertification, and a whole gamut of environmental degradation, the use of better crop varieties remain paramount. Let's now see this feature. It was the official opening ceremony of high-level conference on application of science, technology and innovation in harnessing African agricultural transformation at Kampala, Uganda. In attendance were the President of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, Right Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers, Members of Parliament and members of the diplomatic missions, as well as delegates to the conference comprising the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, AATF, the Common Markets for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMMESA, the African Biosafety Network of Expertise, ABNE, the Uganda National Council for Science and Technology, UNCST, and the Tropical Institute for Development Initiatives, 3D.
Government of Uganda and several other African governments represented here have made significant progress on some of the issues that we have agreed upon, including the role of the public-private partnerships in transforming Africa's agriculture, strengthening intellectual property rights to catalyze transformational change in Africa's agriculture, and managing climate change to enhance food security.
The high-level conference on harnessing science, technology and innovation is to help transform African agriculture. Experts deliberated on technological solutions to the myriads of challenges facing agriculture. The forum indicates the importance the government places on the use of technological know-how as the basis for development. They opine that advances in agricultural technologies and biosciences are tremendous and exponential, and the confluence among crop science, biology, chemistry, engineering and digital technology, among other disciplines, genetic engineering and gene editing, now rapidly changing the way seeds are produced.
We have been able to come up with disease and pest-resistant crops. We have in place soil-tolerant, water-use-efficient, and drought-tolerant crops through conventional breeding, through tissue culture and crop propagation, marker-assisted breeding, the use actually of advanced genetic engineering, and low diagnostic tools. We have been able to contribute in ensuring and guaranteeing agri-food availability.
Climate change impacts on food and agriculture could be very severe unless there are rapid reductions in greenhouse gas emissions. Currently, 70% of global agriculture is rain-fed, so it's at the mercy of changing weather patterns and rainfall intensity.
The theme of the conference, Integrating the Path in Africa's Agricultural Transformation, calls upon all Africans to diagnose what is ailing in the continent's agriculture and prescribe the right medicine for curing the disease. The theme reminds all Africans of the need to identify and align all tools needed to put the continent firmly and sustainably onto the path towards peak performance. It indicates that the latest FAO statistics show that crop yields in sub-Saharan Africa have stagnated at about 1 ton per hectare over the last 5 decades, whereas other developing regions such as Asia and Latin America have more than doubled their crop yields during the same period. China's crop productivity per hectare is more than 3 times the corresponding average for sub-Saharan Africa. Although nearly 70% of Africans are farmers, they make a living from small plots with poor soils. The agricultural environment is further complicated by drought, pests, and diseases. About 65% of the world's remaining unutilized arable land is in Africa, yet Africa is unable to feed itself. Close to 250 million children are malnourished.
We have wealth. In fact, we are seeing people coming to use our land to produce food. Where have we been? Yeah? And when we see them, we begin grumbling. Yeah? Whose fault is that?
The specific objectives of the conference are to showcase the current potential impact of application of science, technology, and innovation for improved agricultural productivity, value addition, and poverty reduction, to share the synopsis of the current status of agriculture in Africa, capturing the past, current, and future trends, to showcase the significance of enabling systems in optimizing the impact and benefits of modern biotechnology to African agriculture. Also, to facilitate constructive dialogue amongst high-level policymakers, experts, farmers, investors, regulators, communicators, development partners, and the media on the role of STIs in sustainable food systems and nutrition in Africa.
That for you here, you are short of breakfast, you are short of lunch, you even leave the food on the plate. There are people who are eating, but there are no nutrients, and therefore they are going to be stunted and prone to diseases. We have limited access to quality health services for all at all ages. We have biting poverty, need for increased employment generation, wealth creation. We have environmental and climate change effects.
By 2020, the number of undernourished children would surpass 1 billion. This is by AgBio World 2011. So what are we doing about this? As a matter of urgency, we need to act, and the time is now.
The beginning point must be to increase investments in breakthrough technologies such as climate-resilient and disease-resistant crops and livestock. In response, the AATF has identified the following priority areas: crop productivity and stress management, mechanization and digital agriculture, policy and public acceptance, market systems and commercialization, nutrition, food quality, and post-harvest management. Views are diverse and opinions are sacred, but above all, knowledge sharing based on either personal experiences or otherwise are oftentimes informative and provides the needed awareness or even advocacy on the benefits of agricultural biotechnology to the African continent.
Erosion and flood agriculturally affects farmland in the sense that when a farmer farms his own crops, when it's rain, and that particular farm might not be at the appropriate place, it's likely for that rain to just wash off those crops, and the farmer will be the big loser there. So I would advise if everybody would just follow nature as it is. When you know this place is not supposed to be farmed, no farmer should farm that place.
Erosion washes away the soil and also washes away the seeds that have been planted. And erosion also causes decay of the seeds that are planted because they are not able to grow and germinate, so they get rotten in the soil. Farmers, they can plant shrubs to be able to hold the soil together, and they can also they can build walls to prevent the water from coming to their farmland.
When it comes, this is large quantity of water coming to a farmland, and it flows the topsoil, and it lets the topsoil move away from its normal position. Not just that, and if there is the land is fertilized, like if there is artificial fertilizers applied, this massive flow of water takes away the fertilizer, basically. There are several means through which farmers can prevent this. That's planting of vegetation as a cover for plants, and for crops as well.
Erosion and flood affects farmland by washing away the fertile soil or topsoil. It washes away fertilizers, manure, pesticides, and it also changes the soil's structure and temperature. Farmers can prevent such from happening by maintaining a sustainable distance from water courses like ditches, and also planting trees to help gather the soil structure.
Erosion, when it goes on farmland, it takes away all the nutrients, all the fertilizers that they've put in the soil, and even the one that the soil has naturally, it takes them away. Farmers should plant a lot of trees, flowers, because that alone, with their roots, they bind the soil.
Erosion generally is the washing away of nutrients from the surface of the soil. So it affects farmlands because the nutrients are not surplus enough for the plants to grow well.
Okay, we have learnt about the maruca, pod borer, electra, the striga or witchweed, thrips, armyworms, and common insects like weevils which eat up food crops. Also, erosion, floods, and effect of desertification in our farms have become a cause for concern. Our guest will tell us more on how we can control these uninvited visitors. But first, let's call for a break. What is biotechnology?
Genetic improvements.
It seeks to improve life and solve problems.
Through either genetic engineering, through gene editing, or any of the method.
have seen how science and technology has transformed our lives. This is science also. It's promising, and we have not seen what science has done that is devastating.
What is biotechnology? Okay, now joining me in the studio is Kabir Ibrahim. He is an architect and the National President, All Farmers Association of Nigeria. You're welcome to the program, Biotechnology in Focus.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now a research conducted by Oxfam in the first and second quarters of the year indicated that climate change is contributing largely to low yields. Can you throw more light on this and the possible remedies?
Well, climate change means two things. You can have too much rain or a lot less than you are used to.
Okay.
If you are not prepared, you suffer a lot of low yield or even completely loss of your produce. The new science, now the one we are adopting, biotechnology in agriculture, is in a position to evolve crops that withstand drought, that withstand too much water also. So as far as we are concerned, if this is well applied, it would lead the farmer out of poverty.
So if there's less rain,
you have a crop that is drought resistant, yes.
Okay.
And if there is too much rain, you have a crop that will withstand the effect of too much water.
Okay. Now you are the National President of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria. Are you endorsing genetically modified crops and biotechnology?
I embrace biotechnology, and I see a good future in genetic engineering for crops, and I see a lot of prosperity for farmers because our yields will increase. Our even wellness will increase. Even you, the consumer, you will be better prepared when you eat something that is scientifically produced.
Now, a number of these crops are currently undergoing field trials. What are the feelers that you are getting from the farmers who are engaged in these field trials?
The farmers are enthusiastically waiting for the commercial application of these crops because you have eulogized over time what can happen to them when they plant these crops. They will have more yields and therefore will be able to get more money, therefore get out of poverty and help Nigeria have food sufficiency, food security, and even the world have food security.
Okay, now this issue about the cost of insecticide being too much for the poor farmers, and again, the issue of the side effect to farmers is another contending area. What can be done in this regard? Is there anything that can be done to remedy this?
What is obvious, when you genetically modify crops, you don't need to use too much of these pesticides, herbicides, and all that. The people who lose are actually the people who peddle these things, and the antis are even getting support from them. So it's a vicious cycle. But the farmers are going to be a lot happier with the genetically modified crops because they will spend less on these insecticides and pesticides.
Okay, now there's this other area, predominantly the smallholder farmers consist of mostly people that may not be very well educated or well schooled. Now, do you see the need for extension workers who can teach farmers what to do in the light of many environmental challenges and factors which inhibit high yields?
Even without biotechnology, there is a dearth in extension workers.
Okay.
We look forward to extension workers because most farmers, as you said, are not very literate in the sense of being able to read inputs and all that and apply them and all that. But they have their own knowledge of the work because they are hands-on in it. Definitely, extension workers will help in educating our farmers on the best practice. There is what is called good practice in agriculture. So that should come in, and you can only get it when you have the person with the knowledge coming to tell you what it is. But otherwise, people are just doing it, from traditions that their grandfather used to do this. But the extension the extension worker is equipped with knowledge to show you how to do whatever you want to do. So we look forward to, more attention on extension workers, even without biotechnology. Yes.
Some time ago, there were some complaints about genetically modified maize which came into the country, and there was a lot of hues and cries about this, and possibly the entry into the country was without the knowledge of the regulatory agencies. Now, do you have something to say about that?
Honestly, I'm hearing this for the first time. If you tell me there is some GM maize that has come into the country, and I don't know about it, honestly. Was it illegally imported? There is some protection in terms of how to do business. Since we launched the green alternative, we are not supposed to readily import, even though there is no ban. But to encourage the people from inside who produce inside, you don't import, because they will not be able to compete. But I'm not aware of any GM maize that has come into this country. But if it does come, and if it is GM, and if it is from a place where the production was regulated, I am not sure that it will be harmful to us. Yes.
In fact, there have been comments that we have actually been consuming some of these products from time, like the sweet corn and the coffee and other things that are actually brought in from the United States of America.
Yes, US and Brazil.
And Brazil.
Yes. Okay. Yes, definitely, they have embraced biotechnology for a very long time. And I'm not surprised that sweet corn and some of these things, even some rice, they call it yellow rice or whatever, it's supposed to be genetically modified. So I'm not, I'm not going to. It's not possible for you to just by mere looking at a grain say that it is GM or not. I don't think anybody has that expertise to say that. But if it's available and we are importing it, definitely whosoever has made forays in the production has done something to the crop. And it is possible that in Brazil, if you bring anything out, it is GM.
Okay, you're not concerned that some of these products of biotechnology may actually result in changes in the nutritional quality of some foods?
The change will only be positive. Okay. It can never be less. I mean, what good practice means. If you go to your farm now, maybe at the backyard, they tell you that when you defecate inside that place, it helps for the fertilization. But honestly, if you do good practice and you comply with some international standards, especially for Europe, even to urinate on the land, it will affect the crop. So the nutritional value of a crop will change. So it's a catch-22 situation. As far as I'm concerned, if anything is genetically modified and good science is applied and some control is put there, but there's some safety is put in place, I have no fears whatsoever. Because, I mean, we all travel, we all eat whatever comes around, and so if there is going to be any effect, it would have been there. So I don't particularly, say that this will affect this or this will affect. No, because it's not possible for me to see it. But if there is science, if they say scientifically this is proven to be detrimental to human health, I will definitely abide by that, and I will discourage anybody, not only farmers, from taking it.
Okay, now, how can modern profit-driven agricultural biotechnology meet the basic needs of the poor? In your own perspective, really.
Poor means you have low purchasing power, and when there is availability, prices will come down somewhat. And therefore, the poor will get food, and there will be food security. Food security means eating that food with the right kind of nutritional value that you require as a human being and readily available at the time you want it. And that will happen because the yield will increase because of the genetic engineering.
Well, is that good for the farmers?
Good for everyone, yes.
Okay.
Good for the farmer because he would produce more on his traditional parcel of land, because the yield of the crop is enhanced because it resists so many of these factors that you mentioned, like striga, that affects the crop. So you produce more. It
won't affect its profit in any way.
It will only affect it positively. It will make more profit.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. I must thank you, National President, All Farmers Association of Nigeria, Kabir Ibrahim. You have actually educated us more from your own perspective as a farmer.
Thank you
so much for your...
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
And that's where we will call it a day on the program, Biotechnology in Focus. We have been with Kabir Ibrahim, and he is the National President of All Farmers Association of Nigeria. Now we have to go now, having extensively exhausted available information on the control of parasites and tackling ecological challenges that constrain farming activities. My guess is that you will be glued to your TV set another time on another topic. Please take advantage of our various platforms to send your reactions. We will be extremely delighted to hear from you. Thank you and bye-bye.